Welcome back to episode 6 of Resilience Unscripted. Today we have Stephen here from Middlesex Transitions Sober Homes in Everett, Massachusetts.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tim, thanks for reminding me of what episode it was because I'm brainless.
70% sure.
70% sure. Thank you for coming today.
Yeah, no
appreciate it. So usually we start out the podcast about talking about your background, how you got into this field working. If you do have any recovery time, we talk about that. If there's anything you don't want to speak about, you just tell me and we'll skip it.
Yeah, okay? Definitely. I'm originally from California. Mm-hmm. I moved out here about 4 years ago, got sober. I was working in the field before I left for California, but, had my, like a lot of people can understand, relapsed, just had a really tough time, needed a change of scenery, and decided, hey, I think actually, if we're going to be honest, it's more, I think I ran from my problems. Literally went from coast to coast.
I do that.
Yeah, literally ran from my problems.
I don't run from coast to coast, but I will bounce from cities around here, so...
Yeah. I think I went as far as I could without leaving the country. But I have family out here, so that's what encouraged me to also come out in the area. Came out here for a fresh start, got sober, went to a program. After I graduated the program, started getting involved in the field again, going to UMass Boston to get my licensing as a drug and alcohol counselor.
Awesome.
Yeah, just finished that up this last semester. And recovery has kind of been a part of my, not my whole life, but I've always struggled with alcohol. Alcohol is my demon. Always struggled with it. Didn't start to try to get sober until my 30s. Ebbs and flows, highs and lows, good times, bad times, good times, bad times. Not until, 4 years ago did I really take it seriously. I've had enough. Sick and tired of restarting. Sick and tired of throwing everything away. Sick and tired of hurting people and everything that comes with it. Just so much, it's like a tornado path when I drink. What I leave behind me, the destruction. Okay. So coming out here was a great opportunity for just a fresh start, new environment, new surroundings. Back at home, you see a spot and it instantly brings back certain memories. So it was really refreshing to come out here, try something different, and continued in the field, was working at a program, got hired on to run some sober livings. Awesome. And I've been doing that for the past year, and life is good. Awesome. Life is good. Yeah.
So what you said 4 years ago you came out?
Yeah.
From California?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 4 years, you've accomplished a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
That's amazing because there's a lot of people who have moved here from over 10 plus years ago and are just kind of like, I say floating because they don't really know what they want to do.
Yeah.
They don't know what pathway is the right pathway for them, but you really, buckled down and it seems like you know exactly what you wanted to do. How did you find this particular area in Massachusetts?
So when I first moved out here, I stayed with my aunt in Woburn. And then so how did I specifically get to Everett? I stayed with my aunt in Woburn, went to a program, the Salvation Army over in Saugus.
My father went through that.
Yeah, graduated the Salvation Army. Was working on my path towards becoming a counselor, and the Salvation Army had hired me on to be an intake coordinator.
Nice.
While doing that, I was living at the Sober Living over in Everett, Middlesex Transitions. I was working at the Salvation Army, started to go to school, and the owner of Middlesex Transitions said, hey, I need someone to come in and help me with that side of things. The owner, he'll be the first to admit that he's not an addict, he's not an alcoholic, he doesn't necessarily... I don't want to say understand because that's not the right word, but it takes one to know one, right? It takes one to know one sometimes.
So he's like me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he has a huge heart. He wants to help, and
that's pretty much all it takes.
Exactly. So, but I understand kind of the other side of things too. Yeah. I can relate to the guys and in a way where I've been through a personal experience.
The logistics work well.
Yeah, exactly. So then he offered me a job to work with him, and I took it because it was just a great opportunity.
Do you love it?
I love it. I do love it. I do love it. It's tough. any job in recovery, I think, is tough.
Absolutely.
Even if you're a sponsor without getting paid, it can be tough. You're dealing with human emotions and somebody who's struggling. That's always tough. It's never easy, but very rewarding at the same time. It's like when you see somebody make it, it's rewarding. So, anyways, I was living at the Sober Living, and
I'm sorry, I just made a spiral so off topic.
No, it's all good. That's why you get to edit. That's the best part.
Hard for you.
Yeah. So I came on working with him. I now live in Hingham. Nice. So I come back and forth every day.
That's a hike.
Yeah, but it's sometimes I cheat though. I park at Quincy Adams and I take the train, and you know what I mean? But yeah, it's nice to also be able to get away a little bit. It's nice.
And I don't get that luxury.
Yeah.
As much as I'm very hands-on, so we film in our sober home a lot of times. Sometimes we do in this room, or we'll do in the living room. Last week we did at my own personal home. So yeah, I don't really get to escape. You know, like you get to go home to Hingham. I get to go down the street to my house. But I can't say it. I don't know if I would want to escape because I'm hands-on, and like as much as I get stressed out and can get overwhelmed with things that go on, I kind of have to know what's going on. And like I have such anxiety that like if I don't know what's going on, I'm gonna be panicked. So I think as much as I want to say I have best of both worlds, it would be nice to sometimes just get away. Maybe that's what vacations are for. I don't know. If you have to do that too. But
what's a vacation?
Yeah, exactly. Eventually someday we'll see what that is. But you have a nice luxury of being able to get on the train and go back and get in the car and go home. So
well, for me personally, I have to. One thing that I learned from a counselor at the Salvation Army, she had told me self-care. Mm-hmm. If I can't take care of myself, I'm going to be of no use to anybody else.
100%.
So me being an alcoholic myself, I have to be able to separate sometimes, even though it's hard. Sometimes it's like I have to be forced or force myself to, because I understand exactly what you're saying. If you feel like if you're not there, things can start falling apart, or issues can turn into something bigger when you can't, instead of just handling it right there on the spot.
Oh yeah.
But if I don't separate, I start to get irritable. I start to get snappy. I start to get not very useful to people. Yeah. So I have to separate, and I'm lucky enough to have an awesome house manager that works in the evening time. So when I'm not there, somebody else is on shift. So that's a huge benefit.
And this, how many houses?
4 now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're expanding.
Yeah.
Great.
Always.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
it is.
that.
Yeah.
You guys run a really great program. It's nice and structured. It's not too strict, but it's just enough what it's right now currently men, correct?
Yeah, just men.
Just what the men need, you know, because I'm a little more lax with how I do things. I want them to be able to go out into society right away. There's really no restrictions, like besides curfew and, you know, going to your meetings and stuff like that. But I do see where I love hearing from other people as much as I don't correspond with a lot of different operators. I know you and I have chatted before about things, and it's nice to hear how someone else does things, because it is eye-opening that like maybe if I did have a little more structure within how I do things in the house, it would eliminate a lot of the nonsense that goes on in the house.
We're always learning from each other, right?
Right.
Just in general, it's good to leave our ears open to at least consider, or you know, hear what other people are doing. But what works for one person might not work for the other, and there is no. That's what I love about recovery too. There's not one way to do things. There isn't just one set path, and that's the only way it's going to work. Each individual person is different. Mm-hmm. Each house is different. Each environment it's all circumstantial. Like everything is, it depends.
Yeah.
Everything depends, which is, it's kind of refreshing. So
let me ask you this. You're from California. What's about this California sober deal?
Oh my gosh. It just means smoke a lot of weed.
So do you guys allow that?
No.
Okay, because I don't allow that either.
Nope.
We've had girls come in, I have a medical card, and I'm like, great, that's wonderful. I don't think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
You know, it's not. It's mind altering. It changes your state of mind, and everyone can have their different opinion and their different view. Kratom, marijuana. Even medication abuse, taking another pill.
We've had that.
Yeah, taking one extra pill than what your doctor's prescribed is abuse.
Correct.
And it just, I've seen too often where it leads. you know. And don't get me wrong, there's some people that are out there that can just enjoy some marijuana and they live a perfectly that's great. I can't. I know that I can't. You know, what's better than smoking a joint on the beach? Maybe a beer that goes with it. What's better than one beer, two beer? It just, for me, it snowballs. You know, it's the THC would only last for so long before time. I need something else. I'm bored. Yeah.
It wears off.
It wears off.
And then the fun's gone.
It wears off, and then people will want to fight it, but you become addicted.
Absolutely.
If you don't have your weed, I know at least for me, and I always like to keep it on me too. I don't want to generalize and say what everybody else experiences. I'm grumpy. I need to get some weed. If I don't have it, I'm grumpy. I'm wondering when I'm going to get it, where I'm going to get it, how I'm going to get it, so that way I could be happy. And that's not sobriety to me.
So they always said as a kid in like high school when we'd have health class, oh, it's a gateway drug. And as corny as it would sound at like 13 years old sitting in health class, now knowing what I know going through school, because I'm in school for the same exact degree that you went through. Eventually I'll be working on getting my license. I need my hours, but we'll get there. That's a slow boat, but it will eventually happen. I feel like I've been in school forever now. It's going on 3 years, but I'm getting tired of that too. They say it's a gateway drug, but like it's really not, because I've had girls come through here that have gone through, a crack cocaine addiction, and that's what they started with, and now they're, well, I need weed, I need weed, and I'm like, you can't just lose one and pick up another. Like it's only gonna harm you. It's not gonna benefit you in any way. And we've had to send them off to IOP, PHPs to get the help they need to literally get away from marijuana. It's kind of sad because I feel like society sets people up to fail in a way where they say it's good for you. Cancer patients take it.
For sure.
It's almost like, and I don't even want to go down this road with like the big pharma stuff with like the Oxycontin and stuff. But the same thing that these doctors will prescribe you pills and say it's good for you, it's good for you, it's going to help you, you're going to have less back pain, you're going to feel great. Take 2. And then 2 turns into 20. And now you're chasing scripts from doctor to doctor, and you're chasing pills on the street, and it just becomes a big snowball effect that sometimes they can't get away from. But more times than none, we see them replacing their drug of choice with marijuana. And it's just funny how they use the term gateway. It doesn't even have to be a gateway. It's almost like a clutch now. Like that's the new.
That's kind of addiction in a nutshell, right? It's not just the substance. I can replace my drinking with working. I can become a workaholic. I can whatever. It doesn't have to just be a substance. I have an addictive personality.
I do too.
I have an addictive personality that I need to work on, and if I'm not working on it, an area of my life will most likely be out of control. I'll replace one thing for the other, and it's just dangerous if we just think. So for me, this is a good way to explain it, right? Whatever you want to call it, trauma, depression, anxiety, all these different things that I had going on. Alcohol, I felt like was the medicine. Then it turned into a problem, right? So I had these problems and issues and fears and all this different stuff that alcohol seemed to solve. So alcohol was certainly the problem, but I had problems before the drinking. So I needed to address what came before the drinking. Drinking certainly didn't help, but my addiction is more than just, I can't stop drinking. My addiction is, I've got a lot of stuff that I need to fix on myself and work through and try to be a better person, and, honesty, not manipulate, all these different things that come with it, the addictive personality. And that's for me as well, not for everybody. So alcohol was a byproduct of a much bigger issue going on in my life. And with what you're saying, Band-Aid, exactly. It worked until it didn't work. It worked until it became a bigger problem, and then a bigger problem, and then all the stuff that comes with it. But yeah, replacing. So if I replace it with weed, I've still got a crutch. I've still got something, and we almost might always need some sort of crutch, whether it be talking with somebody, like calling my sponsor or my best friend or my partner, whatever. And there's different kinds of healthy crutches, so it's important to kind of differentiate what, at least for me, again, everything is all about on me, I don't want to generalize for other people.
I get that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you have a healthy balance with your own recovery running the home? Do you feel like you have that fine line of like you're able to have your own recovery and help them?
In the beginning, I didn't. I would be, honestly, there were some days I didn't want to hear the word alcohol or recovery or sobriety. And that would, follow through into my personal time out of work. I'm like, the last thing I want to do right now is go to a meeting. I'm sick of hearing about meeting. Like it was over what, like enough. I just want to go to the beach, be left alone, chill out. But that's when the gears start turning and I start backpedaling.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, no, I didn't have a healthy balance. I wasn't practicing what I was preaching all the time. And then it took for me to kind of just have to be honest with myself and say, everything that when I say everything that I'm telling everybody else, how can I not be like practicing that?
We don't always take our own advice.
Yeah, I'm sitting there telling someone, hey, did you go to your meetings this week? And in the back of my head, I'm like, man, I haven't been to a meeting in 3 weeks. Like, how does that work? So no, I had to be honest with myself, and I started noticing myself getting, irritable, frustrated, and then so I was like, okay, I need to work on myself. Started doing my meetings again, redoing the steps just because, and then what do you know? Things become clearer and healthier, and yeah. So now I do though. Now I have a healthy balance. I know when to stand up and just say, hey, I need to do me.
Yeah.
I can't always be available. I need to be able to put my phone down. I need to not. It's important.
I need to learn that.
It's important.
I will say sometimes like I'm not going to be around for the day, and then I'm getting texts about things that are totally unrelated to the house or to someone's recovery, and it's just like I'm not going to say craziness. That would be the right word.
Yeah.
Like things that are just unrelated, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why do I need to know this? Like I made it clear that I have something personal going on today that I need to do, but I have a hard time with boundaries because then I feel guilty. So it's like, well, what if that was really important to them and I didn't, take it seriously and God forbid, like, I don't know, something bad happened. Like I have to learn how to be able to say like, my phone's going on DND. I'm busy. I will be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And everyone's pretty self-sufficient here. I will say that. A lot of the girls are like, have gone through this once or twice at least, and they know, the rodeo of living sober living, and they're used to it, and they know how to be reliant on their peers and themselves and do the right thing. But occasionally we will have one that's like, hey, I gotta tell you something, and it's like, couldn't wait until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, so I need to learn that balance because I don't really have a balance right now.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And it's all about respect on both sides of it, right? I'll respectfully tell people, hey, I'm out for the day. And I always keep my phones on me. So I'll look, and if it's something that doesn't seem like it's an emergency, I'll just leave it until tomorrow. I communicated that I'm going to be busy for the day. Unless it's an emergency, I won't be available. And it's a respect on both sides. And if somebody is texting me for toilet paper at 2 a.m. on my day off,
so you guys have that too, huh?
Yeah.
Even when it's in the closet?
Yeah, even when it's in the closet. But and sometimes people just need to be heard as well. So when someone is texting for something like that, it's probably not. They just need to be heard a little bit, recognized. Exactly. So it's I get it.
We all do things that probably aren't in our best judgment at times. And I noticed that like we had something similar with toilet paper just a couple days ago, and I was like, I know for a fact it's in the closet. I literally just bought a case, and if it's not growing legs and walking out the door, it's still going to be exactly where I left it. And it was like, I will say, like, with all respect and boundaries, like, I love the girl that said it to me. She's harmless. She's great. Like, she's been one of my residents for a long time, and she's really a good person. But it's like, come on.
Yeah.
This would have waited. Like,
yeah.
Wasn't important, but to her maybe it was. I don't know, but yeah, balance needs to come into my life because it's just not there right now.
Yeah, it's
my 2 phones go everywhere.
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
Constantly out, like I'm constantly checking them.
Same. I do the same exact thing. Like I'm always just hitting it, even if I don't hear a beep. I'm like, just something.
You think it's beeping.
And that's something that I've been trying to like. I want to get away from my phone sometimes. Like it's with cell phones. we're available 24/7, and sometimes I don't like that. I don't want to be available. I don't want to be contacted. Like, I want to be in the woods somewhere with no service, so it can be tough when you're trying to just relax or spend family time, and it's always there, but it's understandable too, because how quickly things can be. Wow, what a great day, to, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this happened. What? So
I've turned my back for a split second
Yeah.
and left, and then gotten calls like, hurry, get back here, this just went down.
Yeah.
And the car makes a U-turn in the middle of the street, and we're coming back, and it's been within like, no bullshit, a split second.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does this happen? You know, and there's a lot of like behind the scenes that go on that we probably don't see. And as soon as we're not present, things
For
are
sure.
taking off in another direction.
Yeah.
And then we find out the hard way.
Yeah.
But 80% of the time, we're on the right path with things. And, I can't say right now we have a small group of girls. We went through a transition of a couple of girls, graduating and leaving, and some just moving on to different places. But we have a good group right now.
Yeah.
And while we need to continue to, fill the house, and I know they hate when it starts to get fuller, and they love when there's a small amount, because that means more space for them. But, it can get hectic once we get full capacity.
Yeah.
When we had another home in Lynn at the time, believe we had 10 or 11 girls living there, and it was a two floor, two level home, but 2 bathrooms, a half bath. Everyone had enough of space, but to them it didn't feel like there was enough of space.
Yeah.
And, in reality, we knew it was enough of space, but oh my god, the things that would just go on, like just craziness at times about like, well, we put one TV in the living room. That's how we like it, I don't know if when you went through Salvation Army, my dad went through Salvation Army, they had the one TV in the rec room, and that was it. He says to me, I don't want to put TVs in their bedrooms. I'm sorry. I don't like that. I think that's just going to keep them in their rooms. They're not going to come out. They're not going to want to go anywhere and do anything. They're going to be secluded to their room. Put one TV. Well, 11 girls with one TV.
Yeah.
I almost got my throat cut open for that. And I was like, oh my God, like there's going to be a murder in that house, like over a television. And just like, it's a different vibe here. I noticed that, like, I don't know if it's a different turnover of women that are in, recovery now that maybe weren't back then, that are coming through this house, but it's just so much chiller, I should say.
Which that's great, and that's what we hope for, and I think that's why I enjoy working with individuals in this phase of their recovery. So before, I was working in an inpatient program, and it's much more raw, and people are, feelings are starting to cut. It's much more raw, and while enjoyable, it can be overwhelming for sure. And in this stage of people's recovery, little issues like that, right? The TV, it could be an encouragement of like, okay, I'm going to start working really hard to get my own place. You see people starting to put the pieces together a little bit more. They've gotten out of the program or the detox or incarceration, wherever they might have come from, to the sober living. And then that's transitions, right? Middlesex Transitions. It's time to start transitioning to whatever your goal is, getting back with your family, your own place, the job, the car, whatever it is. So it is nice to be able to help people and watch people go from where they were at to seeing them get their own place. And like I was saying, something with the TV or fridge space, or
that's another thing too.
Yeah, but these little things, so if people can go 2 ways with it. Either A, they go, you know what, I'm gonna get my own fridge one of these days. I'm gonna work my butt off and do what I have to do, and do it the right way, so I can have my own fridge that I don't share with anybody. Or they're going to complain about it and turn it in, and just, so it's nice to help people.
We don't know which side.
Yeah, exactly. So, but those things, I think, are good motivational situations for people.
Did you enjoy working in inpatient? Did you like it?
I did. I liked it a lot.
I had the most anxiety working inpatient. Yeah. I loved working outpatient.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I loved seeing, once they were able to see like a clear view of what was really going on, where their next steps were.
Yeah.
So I would say my probably most enjoyment that I got out of working in this whole industry was working outpatient. Like, being able to sit with them once they get their clinician, and I worked at an IOB PHV.
Yeah.
And they come to you for like little things like I need insurance. Oh my God, I didn't know I needed insurance. And it was like, well, yeah, you got to go to the doctor. Let's find you, a PCP, things like that. Like,
Yeah.
it was nice to see them start to care about themselves, because I know when I did work at the detox, it was F this, F you, F that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. I'm locked in this section unit. Like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it was just pure miserating for them, whether they were going through detox, whether
Yeah.
they were still, mentally going through a detox within, the CSS unit. A lot of times after the physical detox is gone, your mind is just still not there.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely.
that was a big part of their, I'll say, I'm going to use transition a lot. That's going to be the word for today, transition. That was a big part of their transition,
Yeah.
like moving on through the stages of recovery. Like,
Yeah.
they'd be there on their 30th day getting ready to be discharged, and the mental health was still not right. And like
Yeah.
the detox of the mindset of using was still there, but the physical withdrawal was gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can take a substantial amount of time before that mental detox is gone. I mean, I still feel regret and shame over things from my past, and people with 30 years still. So that's and to be that's and that's what I was saying is inpatient is so much more raw. The emotion, the feeling, those feelings are coming back. I think one thing that was really difficult for me with inpatient was the unfortunate amount of people that would die. Not in the program, but that's the starting place of people's journey. Usually detox program, that's the beginning. So many times a person would come in and then leave, and then we'd hear about it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like. And you form relationships with these people because it's inpatient. They are living there, and you're watching them eat breakfast, eat lunch, go to their class. So that part was it was pretty difficult.
It's hard because you start to build a relationship with them. You see them in and out every day until your shift is over, and then a lot of times either they'll come back in worse condition than they were the first time, or they won't come back at all. And I think that's what made it so stressful for me, is that like I worked on a unit. It was called Unit 1, which was a women's unit, and I also worked on Unit 6, which was a men's unit. At a facility on the North Shore. And the women of Unit 1, it was like a tribe, right? Like everybody was just like, it was almost like girls in high school. Like either you were part of the clique or you weren't. And unfortunately, I had no choice but to be like in the middle because I worked there. So like I had my boundaries of my job, but like everyone was coming to the desk telling me all kinds of things. And like I had to be there for these girls, because women, I should say too, and some girls that were close to my age at the time. But I had to play like the role of like, you can tell me like it's safe with me. Like I'm not gonna, say anything to so and so, and it could be as minor as, I don't know, my toothbrush is missing, to something serious. And I would find myself like, all right, this one, it just had a baby, right? For instance, who's 19 years old and has been in and out of treatment her whole adolescence, and now growing up into she'll be in her 20s soon, right? And within, I think, the 6 months that I had worked there, she was back twice. And then we had heard that she had passed away. So it was kind of hard for me, because it was like, what about that baby? Like, and you take it home with you.
For sure.
As much as they say, don't bring your work home with you, your work goes home with you every day. Yeah. Even with running this house, like, I'll go home and it's like, oh, I know they have court tomorrow. Like, I wrote the letter. Let's hope the letter like helps, with their progress report of being in the house.
You're hoping to hear from them after court. Yeah. Like you're waiting for that call. Yeah, I'm out.
But the fatigue of it, like, I know, and I've talked about this before, compassion fatigue with working within our industry is so real. Yeah. And a lot of people don't see it. They just think that, like, I don't know if they think we go home and like recharge ourselves and be like, hi, we're back and ready for action the next day. And like, here we go.
I wish it was that easy just to plug in. No, that would be nice.
We can't plug in, but like, we take our jobs home with us. Yeah. As much as we want to shut the phones off and we don't want to know what's going on, you can't help but consume what you see. And I swear, working in the units that I worked in, I saw so much that like I couldn't get it out of my head. It's almost like, and I'll use this as an analogy, I don't know how funeral directors do it, because I would be like so consumed with everything that I've seen and heard all day, like between the families and having to witness what you're seeing, like, God bless them, because that's another job that I probably could never do.
Yeah, it's difficult. Especially after a really hard day, a mentally exhausting, or even like an emotional day where you're frustrated and maybe you're like, have to raise your voice, or so then you go home to your friends or family or whatever. When do you hit that switch? Like, where do you find that switch at on the drive home? Like a day where you might have had to make a really tough decision, but then you're supposed to go home and help someone with their homework and just have dinner. And like, how do you not bring that? So it is tough.
There's a fine line, but it always gets brought over the line.
It does.
I think that's part of being compassionate and working with individuals that need compassion. And a lot of times, addiction for some people can form from not coming from the most compassionate places.
Yeah.
And you just need to give them that encouragement that they need, or the compassion that they need to strive forward. But then where do we get our compassion from?
Yeah.
If we're not getting fueled back up, what happens?
I find my fuel too in somebody that does make it. When I see somebody come in with off the street, need a shower, just life is in shambles, and then 6 months later or a year later, pulling up in their new car, or they finally got their place or the job, and you can just see them glowing. So that fuels me for a while. That does give me the fuel for sure, and it gives me a good fuel. And it's also nice to know that we're actually doing good. Right? We're actually doing good in the world. I feel like that's important in my life because, there's a lot of things that I regret from my past. So this is my way of almost making an amends to the world.
Right.
Like I'm, no, I'm not a sponsor. I'm getting paid, but I'm still doing
You're
good.
Giving back.
I'm giving back the best that I can.
Our time and knowledge that we put into helping people, whether we get paid or not, is still valuable to somebody.
Yeah,
absolutely. It doesn't matter whether we're getting paid $10 or $100 an hour.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the paycheck is, what we can give somebody for encouragement, support, tips of health and wealth and things like that, that we could just outpour into their mind and soul, is stuff that they may not necessarily get somewhere else.
Yeah.
They might not have the best circle of friends or have family.
Yeah, maybe never received love.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people too. Are we allowed to cuss?
Absolutely.
So that's what I tell people. I say, look, experience is just a collection of fuck ups, right? I'm just some guy with a whole lot of experience, a big collection of fuck ups, just trying to share some information and knowledge that I've learned along the way, just trying to pass it forward. And the age range doesn't matter. You would think that maybe people older don't want to listen or people younger don't want to listen. It's like, hey, no, people are really receptive.
I'm sorry, I beg to differ. I've had girls here who are probably 10 years older than me, and they're like, why should I listen to you? You're 27.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I learned stuff from my parents who are senior citizens that are older that they've never heard a day in their life. And it's like, where did that come from? You sound like Confucius over there. And I'm like, I'm not trying to sound like a fortune cookie, but these are things that I can pass on. Just because I'm younger than you doesn't mean that I'm less experienced in something. And, like I've talked about before, I don't have personally the addiction background of going through it myself. I've never suffered with it, but I have the mental health component and everything else that goes along with that. And I can't say that I don't know how somebody who's feeling depressed feels, because I do. I've gone through that. So if I can sit here and tell you that you got this and you're going to be able to make it through, because I know I went through a really shitty day and I made it through times that I've probably would have wanted to get in a car and run away.
Yeah.
Then I think you'll be okay. And there's a lot of people saying you can't profit off of helping people in addiction. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, I hate to say that. Every single company and organization in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is profiting some way, one way or another. So I hate to hear that expression. It rubs me the wrong way.
It does. And
there's more to it than
there's so much more to it. So if I had, for some reason, an unlimited source of money, I'd still be doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Right? I would still be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't just... I'd probably take some more vacations, but I'd still be doing what I'm doing. Unfortunately, money isn't unlimited. Correct. And money has to come in order for our doors to be open and your doors to be open to do what we have to do. And yes, it's nice that I get to make a career out of doing this because I have a family to support. I wish money wasn't a factor, but it is. Money is a factor in every
business,
every facet of life. That's just the way it is.
You could have a lemonade stand that makes gourmet lemonade, and at the end of the day, the lemons aren't just going to fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I love where there's people who say that phrase and they think that like they sound superior saying it, but they're all doing the same thing. Yeah. So, what we can give that doesn't have a price tag on it always makes me feel better. There'll be times that like I had t-shirts made for the girls because someone had mentioned, I want when we go to events to wear the company name. And I was like, you sure you want to do that? And they were like, yeah, I do. So I said, all right, I had them made and I gave them out to the girls and they said, well, can we give you money? And I said, if you want to, you can. You don't have to. And there were some girls that couldn't afford them. And at the point that like, I didn't even care at that point. I was like, you want a t-shirt? Just take the t-shirt. Yeah. Well, I don't have the money. I'm like, just take the t-shirt. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, to see them have a smile on their face, that's you can't put a tag on that.
Definitely. And I can tell you that it's probably something that you don't talk about and we don't talk about because it seems attention seeking, but there's been a lot of months of free housing given out to somebody who we know can make it. And hey, don't worry about just do what you got to do. We'll get like if it was all about money. Yeah, exactly. If it was all about money, then we would. I don't know. Anyways, but the stuff that happens behind the scenes
that people don't
taking someone to the grocery store, doing what we got to do,
taking them to the clinic,
taking them everywhere.
There's things that people don't see that I think they think doesn't happen. It doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
And that in a perfect magical world, somebody who doesn't have transportation, maybe doesn't have PT1 and doesn't know how to use the train, well, you would think maybe like, hey, maybe Steven took them there. No, the person just teleported there somehow.
Exactly.
It's just irrational ways of thinking, but yeah, I want to continue to do the little things. Like I know last year I took them to Connor's Farm. I took them to the Topsfield Fair, and like those are things that I want to do with the girls every year. That we are able to, be in business and do this and continue to do it because it builds, number one, core memories that a lot of places don't do.
Yeah,
it kind of brings them together as a house, and they get to get out of the house and learn more about each other. Because I feel like within these walls, it's constantly about addiction.
Yeah.
Once they're out of here, it's like they're all human.
Yeah. Just forget to breathe the air. And yeah, definitely. And it's like what you were saying earlier about the shirts, about just someone's smile, right? When a lot of the things that we do behind the scenes isn't for recognition from other people or outside sources. It's for that individual and for them to have that smile or comfort of knowing, okay, I got a roof over my head.
Yeah.
I got a warm bed. I got a hot shower. Like
when
it's not for anybody. It's not for anybody else.
No, I gave so many clothes away when I had moved from my last home to where I live currently. And I knew obviously not all the girls fit in my clothes, but I knew the few that might. Yeah. And I said, you can all pick through whatever you want. It's fine. Take what you want. Whatever you don't want, give away. Yeah. Because what am I going to do with it? They don't fit me. I don't want them anymore. Take them. Just like the gratitude behind that. Like I just got a shirt with a tag on it. I mean, I didn't even know it was in there with a tag on it, but still, like it wasn't any good to me. It was good to them, and they were happy. Like, I want to continue working on doing things that maybe a lot of other homes don't do. Yeah. We did have a boutique in the other house that we were running. It was down in the basement, which was a finished basement, but clothes that were brand new or next to new that they were able to go down and shop from and take. And when they would leave, they would bring them back if they didn't want them, so the next person could wash them and have them. Things that were in good condition, not like ratty stuff. Yeah. But
able to go to a job interview,
exactly.
or show up to dinner with their family.
And unfortunately, I don't have that space in this house to do it, but like that's always in the back of my mind. Like, where can I get them things that they might need?
Yeah.
If we get a donation sometimes of like products for women, like I'll put them in the house and let them use them because what are we going to do? Sometimes they can't afford to go get that stuff.
Yeah. But and then on the opposite end of compassion, there comes the tough love.
Oh,
right?
Definitely.
And they're also and this doesn't just go with addicts and alcoholics, right?
Everybody.
A real friend will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And so on the there's the compassion aspect, but also accountability.
Well, I'm learning that
accountability.
Yes, and I'm also learning I can't be so giving.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly wanting to do for everyone else, and sometimes doing and giving is great, but then there's the lack of accountability and respect that comes back. So I'm being told by my group of friends that I currently have, stop doing for everybody. It's always taken, but sometimes it's not appreciated. So I'm learning my fine line of boundaries, that I can't be that person that wants to just be like, here, take this, have that. Like, I'll take you here. I'll do this. Like, I can't. So
if I see somebody putting in the work, I'll bend over backwards for them.
Same.
If I see them putting in the work and they're doing everything that they possibly can, maybe not everything, but they're putting in the work. And if I see somebody that's not putting in the work, like, I can't want it more for them more than they want it for themselves.
We can try, but it never comes out.
If they're not putting in a little bit more than what I'm willing to put in, that makes it difficult, because you have to want it, not you, but the individual, the person they have to really want it. And sometimes it takes a little while for that to click. And that's what we hope, is that the miracle comes at some point. But if a person, not just in sober living, just anywhere, is just waiting for something to be handed out to them, that's really tough. And I try to really instill in people, like, hey, you got to get out there and get it. You gotta get out there. You gotta get motivated. You gotta do something. You go volunteer. Go to the gym. Go for a walk. We gotta start moving forward.
To one of the girls, and when I tell you, I got daggers after I said it. It's nice to stay in the house, right? And it's nice to be on your phone and kind of just like relax, right? But there comes a time where, obviously, the house has requirements. I do make them do a work search log. Just because if you're not working and it's past the 45 days of what we're looking for you to get a get well job, at least show that you're trying, right? And I had the conversation one day. I said, hi, maybe you should just go for a walk. It's beautiful out. Like, take the train into Boston. Have like a day for yourself, but like not in the house. Kind of like hint, go out. That wasn't taken very well. And I says, where would you like me to go? I says, I don't know, maybe go to the beach, like sit up the beach and, take a book, like just do something, for yourself. No, that message was not taken very well.
It probably wasn't received how you were trying to send it.
No.
It was,
and it was said so nicely too, that it was more of like, staying in the house really isn't good for you. It's not good for your recovery. It's not conducive to your recovery.
It's difficult, and we have a requirement where if you're not working, you need to be volunteering.
I try to make them do that.
You need to be out of the house. You need to be out of the house, because we know what happens if you stay in your bed. If you stay in your bed all day, we know what happens. If you're not working on your recovery, you're working on your relapse. That's all there is to it. It's one of the other.
Unspoken truth.
It's one or the other. You're either working on your recovery or you're working on your relapse. And that's not to say, hey, there's days where I'm like, I just want to binge a good show and kick back and relax. But we're putting the work in to be able to do that. If it's an everyday thing, that's just not healthy. And it is important to every person is different, and to find the right way, or try our best to find the right way to bring it to someone's attention. And it's not always easy, because no one wants to be told that they're doing something wrong, when in their mind, they might just be, if they step outside, they might want to go drink or use. So staying indoors is like they might be fighting not to leave the door. So it's really hard. We're
not mind readers.
Exactly.
As much as we want to be, and we want to get down to what's deep within their brain, we can't. So we do the best that we can, I think, as operators, to really get down to the point of helping and providing the resources that we can. But ultimately, it's up to the individual at hand to put that work in, and where they want to go on this path is up to them. If you had one piece of advice to give a newcomer, what would it be?
Oh, just one piece.
Let me reword it. If you had to go back and tell yourself as a newcomer, what is the advice you would give yourself?
Listen to someone that has some more time than me. Follow some instruction.
I know none of us like to do that.
No, I still don't.
I don't either. I hate listening.
I still like to do things my own way. But if there's somebody that's got 5-10 years and they're smiling and laughing, they're doing something right. Because that's all I want. That's what I want. I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. Everything else is just a plus, right? To be happy and laugh and smile is what I want to continue. So why don't I listen to what that person's saying? If they're saying go to a meeting or get up and go for a walk to the beach, or listen
Maybe
to
try it out.
maybe try it out. Yeah, don't just be stuck in my own way, because my own way got me where I was. My thinking got me into some not so healthy situations and places.
But
And
look where you are now.
exactly, because I started listening to other people. I started, not being told what to do, but like, okay, you know what? I appreciate that, and especially from people that that actually care.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody genuinely cares, we know the difference when someone cares or when someone is just whatever. So if someone that is genuinely care, might as well try to listen, take some advice, take a suggestion, and try it and do the steps. That would be my second piece of advice. Work the steps with somebody that's worked the steps.
Mm-hmm.
That was life changing for me. The steps, big time.
Do you feel that sometimes repeating the steps, as much as it can be a pain, is beneficial to somebody?
Definitely. I because not every person, but a lot of people will present the steps to you a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's a pain in the butt and you don't want to do it, and it's still an hour out of your week that you're not drinking and you're working with somebody else, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Yeah, because there's always stuff to dig up. I don't think it's just like alcoholism. If I'm not continuously working on my recovery, tomorrow I'm just one mistake away. I'm one bad decision away from being a resident again, starting over at day one, going back to a program, whatever. I'm one bad decision away.
Rent is always due.
And so if I'm continuously trying to do something to better my recovery, I don't think it can hurt. It might be boring after a while because if I've done the steps, but
But repetition is good too.
Yeah. Find a different way to redo your steps. Maybe the month of January is all about step 1. Month of February is all about step 2. There's different ways to do it, and so yeah, there's no harm in doing them again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your experience with us this week. This wraps up episode 6. Tim, I'm going to ask you 100 times.
Maybe 7.
It might be 7. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.